Hello, everybody. This is Jay Delvecchio, President CEO with W.I.T.S. I appreciate you making it today, and we certainly look forward to working with you, giving you a lot of valuable information on the course, and sharing with you some incredible opportunities here with sharing some knowledge from key people. Like we have Mark Cassidy with us, who's a senior faculty member, has been presenting the hybrid for us for a lot of years, as well as the in-person. He's out of Philadelphia. Mark, you want to give everybody a little background on yourself real quick here?
Yeah, sure. Everybody, now you can see me, correct, Jay? Because like I said, when I'm doing this, it looks a little different. Okay, good. You're making sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been working with the World Instructors Training Schools for 20 years. I live in the Philadelphia area. I have been teaching, like I said, for W.I.T.S for 20 years. My background is I've been involved in the fitness industry since, oh, for crying out loud, probably since the early 90s. Yes, I look much younger than that, I know. And then as far as my educational background, I have an associate's degree in business from Delaware County Community College, a bachelor's degree in exercise physiology from Temple University, and a master's degree in business psychology from the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is where I actually work full-time running their athletic and recreation facility. So like I said, I love teaching this class. I love being involved with this, and I'm hoping you guys all get what you want out of the course itself.
Beautiful, beautiful, Mark. Not bad for your first time.
And the comedy show starts. Get ready for that, people.
But I also wanted to share with you, we're lucky enough to have Mary Romero from the Virginia Peninsula Community College. It's one of the key locations we're going to be running across the country. Mary, you want to share a little bit about your site and what we're doing there?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Mary Romero from Virginia Peninsula Community College. I'm the program manager of the Allied Health. And I know this is a new program for us, and I'm looking forward to having more people join us and welcome everybody. And it looks like it's going to be a fun time. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mary. And last but never least, Gina. She is from Austin, Texas, from the University of Texas. She went through the course there a bunch of years ago with another fantastic instructor, Tony Thomas, and graduated. So she's here to answer any of your questions you may have, not holding back. I've unmuted everybody that's on here today, so feel free to ask questions as we go along. Gina, you want to give them a little background on you and your New York Marathon?
Before the New York Marathon, I actually used to be a client of Tony Thomas's for years, and he kind of started to suggest that maybe I might look into taking his class. Because I was one of those annoying clients who was like, why are we doing this? So I did take the class, and and so now I work with him in his gym and also in my own gym, and then as a running coach. So yeah, a lot of running right now, training for the New York Marathon, training for the Boston Marathon in the spring. So
in Texas, which is always the hottest place in the world to be training.
Yeah,
well done.
Character builder. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Gina, for being part of this. Everybody, I just know that you're interested in a lot of different things. I want to give you some background on W.I.T.S as we go forward and what we're trying to give you some insights on, because this isn't just a giant workout class. We're doing a lot of fun things with the idea that you want to do a lot of fun things, including, that this may be a career change. It may be you're a coach and you're working with a lot of different adults, as well as high school, as well as middle school, and you're trying to get an idea of how to coach people up and do successful training sessions for your groups, and instead of just trying to go with some of the old school stuff that may not or may be still functional. But we want to go through all this stuff. And of course, if you're in school at one of these wonderful schools that we have across the country, you may be pursuing a degree. So at this point here, what better thing than to, if you're in exercise science or some kind of community health or PE and health, those kind of things. Hey, if you want to get something in your field, you'd rather work in the field while you're pursuing your 2 or 4 year degree with the idea of, guess what, I'm going to have a ton of experience when I come out. I'd much rather make some cash flow with this than flipping burgers in the profession I'm going to be following up on. So this does have that tie-in, but you go through us directly for that. And we'll go over that here shortly. But obviously, there's some other good things here as far as the additional revenue, whether you're part-time or full-time. The community service, if you're going to be working with your church or others volunteering your time with seniors, there's just so many cool things you can do in changing lives of people besides making your heart bigger and better than ever when you start doing these things and seeing people change. Not to mention just to improve your own workouts. We probably have 1 in 10 that just come in because they want to improve their own workouts for them and their family. So that's what we're here for. That's what this is about, and we'll give you some ideas going forward, no matter what your motivation is at this point.
Piggybacking on Jay, what you said, and I'll go to the next slide, is that I've been doing this for 20 years, and people have taken this for all sorts of different reasons. Most of them take it because they want to be involved in the fitness industry in some capacity. Even if it's only part-time because they want to get started. I will say this, one of the more humorous stories in the years I've been doing this, I did have 3 ladies who actually took this course just so they didn't have to hire a personal trainer ever again. They just wanted to know how to do it themselves is why they did it. In fact, they weren't even going to take the exam, and I pretty much influenced them, we'll say, to take the final. I'm like, you went through the whole thing. Let's see if you got it. And they all passed. But like I said, they were the funniest 3 that I had. They were like little peas in a pod in the class, and always were talking amongst each other and like, oh, this is great. If we learn to do this, we don't have to pay anybody else anymore. So there are people who actually do that in the course itself, which is kind of funny. So.
Yeah. And it would be interesting to follow up with them to see where they're at, because they're in the gym working out, doing this, doing that, and they're going, do you see what that guy's doing over there with that person, for that client? Now they know what they're looking at.
Mark said that's the wrong way to do that.
Exactly. Just some initial background. We've been doing this since 1993, so basically 30 years. We have facilities, colleges, hundreds and hundreds of colleges and facilities we're working with in US and Canada. We're very proud of what we do, and what we do is very unique compared with other just online certification groups. So the experiences you're going to get here, especially in person, hands-on, is what separates you from the pack, and of course just quadruples your chances of success in the field in relating to clients and knowing what and how to say things. Well, these are just some, very few, really. Actually, we're a little over 6,000 now fitness internship sites all around the country. And we will be helping you set up those internship sites once you graduate. But you can ask us all you want about getting a list of those people. We'll give you some hints, but we're not going to give them to you because we don't want you bothering those fitness directors. They are awful busy. But we have them lined up for you, and we get requests every week from national corporate groups to mom and pops for pretty much every location in the country. They are hiring. They're eager. Since COVID, they want to have good quality people in there that, of course, know what they're doing, so it makes their job easier. That they don't have to hold your hand because you got a piece of paper, but you've only done it online and you have no idea how to actually do the practical skill applications. And you'll hear me say this a few times because why? It's half the job. It's incredibly important. Okay. NCCA accreditation. We are the only ones that have the NCCA accreditation for the written and the practical skills. Everybody else just does the written exam again, which is great. But I mean, who wants a dentist who's only, done the written exams, never had practical skills, never had internships in it? Even a car mechanic, who wants somebody just read about it and has never actually worked under a hood with somebody working with them, right? So the applications, this is a health occupation, you deal with people's lives. We build out the infrastructure to test for written and practical, and we got the accreditation to enhance that and make you feel comfortable about your decision.
Yeah, and piggybacking also again, once what Jay just said, and the amount of time I've been doing this, one of the reasons I've stuck around this as long as I have was because the vision that Jay had when he made the company was to make the industry better. And this hands-on practical skill portion that we have is extremely valuable. I've had people who have taken a class who have told me that they wish they did our program first before doing one of the other online courses at all, because it was all self-study. And then at the end, there was no interaction or hands-on how to do things. And this is a hands-on type business where you're going to have to, show people things. You're going to have to demonstrate things. Doesn't mean you have to be, a pro athlete yourself, but you have to be able to at least explain it as, and then show people what to do. It's not simply just open the book and then you just, you're on your own. We don't do that to you.
Yeah. And interpreting a picture, interpreting a video, and then trying it on somebody's mother, brother, or sister is not a positive way to go, right? We also have, this is the college credit part of it I was talking about, that you work directly with the American Council on Education on once you pass this particular course, the Certified Personal Trainer has 3 college credits for it. You can then, like a transferring student, you can walk in that transcript that comes from ACE, the American Council on Education, and give it to your dean or other person there to share it, and look at having them put it in there. I will tell you that almost 2,000 institutions across the country are already pre-approved for this. They are member institutions, so it's very, very easy to do. Now, for the nitty-gritty, let's get to that part. And again, if anybody has any questions, you've been unmuted. Feel free to. I mean, you can shoot a chat, but I'd much rather hear from you, because guess what? You're going to be a personal trainer, right? It's time to be personal and open up yourself and let us get a chance to help you with what you're trying to do, because that's why we're here, right? The course is these 4 components, basically. You're looking at knowledge. 15 hours of this is knowledge. It's core knowledge. It's going to be about exercise phys, nutrition, kinesiology, and so on. The big thing here is, we're going 15 hours. You're not going to be able to do brain surgery, but at the same time, you're going to be able to help these people, because you're going to have a working knowledge of how exercise affects the body and the stresses of that, and obviously all the good things that go with it. That's what we're going to be going over, so you really have a good functional knowledge of what you're going to be doing with people and how to explain it and break it down, because let's face it, a lot of people are annoying, just like Gina. No, I'm kidding, Gina. Yeah, they're going to ask you a lot of questions. They are, and that's great. That means they're buying in and they want to know, and they're heading in a particular direction in their mind, their goals, whatever. And they're turning to you for that kind of life-changing situation, right? What better way than to have somebody who's asking you a lot of questions versus just zombieing out? So anyway, that's that part. And then, of course, the practice, the most fun part that everybody loves to do, the hands-on, in-person practical skill labs, where every week we're going to go over specific things, assessment testing, upper lower body exercises, the cardio, and so on, putting it all together, programming. We're really going to dive into that and role play. So again, if you have a question, you get into one of our courses, we're going to be pulling you out in the room with 2 people in front of the rest of your classmates and say, hey, guess what? I want to see an assessment test for lower back flexibility. We're going to pop quiz you every week. You're going to have homework assignments. This is a college course for the 5 weeks. And in particular, we're going to help you learn how to, those soft skills, communicate with people, relate to people, and we're going to do it together, and you'll be critiqued by your instructor. Somebody like Mark or Tony out of Texas, or any one of our other 100 or so that are out there doing the practical skill labs, they have the background in it. They're going to tell you that this particular thing you're doing, you did it really well. Now, let me tell you where your client's going to try to cheat at it and maybe hurt themselves in their shoulder or hurt themselves in their lower back because they're bouncing and their knees are locked, or whatever the case may be. Getting those insights are the things you will never, ever see in a textbook. They're going to give you the definition. They're going to give you this. They're not going to say, oh, and here's the 5 things to look out for because this could happen, this could happen, this could. That's what our teachers are for, and that's who we look for. So again, book smart versus practically applying. That's what it's about. That's a 15-hour lab that we get on 3 hours each week for 5 weeks.
And that's
so,
what makes, I'm sorry, that's what makes this whole thing unique, is that the idea of having people in, we almost as instructors, if you're, in the gym, well, we want to be asked the questions. I love people when they ask me questions. I've been doing this a long time, and because the success is in the questions. Asking the questions increases your knowledge, allowing you to become more successful. And that's what the goal of this is, to make you successful and keep your clients and the people you deal with safe. And then the ability to, from the knowledge and practical end, and tying those two things together is important, because if people ask you questions and you're able to explain some of the internal things that are happening from a physiological standpoint, it makes you look better. Now, understand, most people won't ask you the finite details on some of the stuff we will go into, but still be able to do that and understand it. That helps design programs, which helps the success of the people you deal with.
Yeah, exactly. And well, Gina, you're a perfect example of it. Where did you feel with Tony that it reached a point from just being a client who asked a lot of questions that you just said, you know what, I can get into this. I wouldn't mind making a lifestyle change myself and making it as a part of full-time career. What kind of, bell went off in your head and say, I kind of like this?
I think it was the fact that his answers were they weren't just like kind of general random answers. I was like, wow, you really understand this. Like, I want to know more about this. It wasn't just kind of, oh, well, you just do this to stabilize your spine. It was like, well, when you put tension here and you pull away from this area, then you're going to find this whole thing comes together. And I was like, oh, that's such a light bulb. Like, how do you do that? Like, I want to learn how to do that. So for me, it was just that the answer itself was comprehensive. It wasn't, so I was like, there's a lot to this that I don't know, and I want to know more. So the class definitely gives you that.
Yeah.
Tony not being here, I know who Tony is. He's really a smart guy. He really is. He's extremely good from exercises, biomechanical knowledge. We have another guy, Joe, who I've worked before here in Philadelphia. He's helped out. He's same way. We try to find people like that to help with this course in this program.
Yes. And I can tell you, going kind of towards the next one in line here with the experience and the successful career, employers are calling because they don't want to hold people's hands and try to explain to them what they should already know. They don't want to be trying to, massage the situation. I'm paying you $25 an hour, let's say, for instance. You should know this. I shouldn't have to come running across the room and ask you what you're doing with Mrs. Johnson because you're going to hurt her. And that kind of stuff. Yeah, that comes with the piece of paper. In our case, we insist that it comes with a piece of paper or you don't get passed. So you're gonna have to pass a written and a practical. And then we have the bonus of the internship on top of that. So that's what equals a long-term successful career. So, and then this is just kind of the breakdown with it. And again, everybody who's on here and the few that missed it, we'll get a recording of this. So you'll have it. You want to review it and kind of talk it over or with a significant other, or maybe some of your friends that want to come take the class at VPCC or some of the other locations we have. This is the breakdown of what we're going to cover, more detailed for you. Okay, Mark, you got the next one there. There's the practical, same thing, 15 hours practical. We're going to go over things from spotting. We assume you're a fitness enthusiast, you're full of energy, but you have actually no formal knowledge. So we're going to assume from the ground up you know nothing. And if you do, that's great. But we're going to make sure your foundation is solid. So when you go to do programming and so on with a variety of people, you're going to feel really comfortable about what you're doing and you're going to do it safely and get results. And when you get results mean they renew their contracts for 7-10 sessions with you. It means they're going to be referring you. And it's just a nice vicious cycle. Because when you work for a health club, in particular inside, you're really a business inside a business. So whether or not you break out and start your own down the road, bottom line is that you need to know these things to progress.
And just to, I've done this before. As far as these presentations, I've done this numerous times with Jay, and I always like to make a small comment for the people who are watching. Is that like the photos and stuff? We set this up. Like this photo here, you can see is a stock photo. So it's third actors actually doing this, and I would critique this to the end because there's 2 or 3 things I'm like, I wouldn't let my guys do that. From a mechanical standpoint, a few things, hand placement, little small things that myself, Joe, Tony, that we've all said, like, oh yeah, we picked it up right away. That's how intense we are, that we've even critiqued the pictures that we see in books and magazines when it comes to this.
Yeah, for the trainer and the client. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. Materials. We basically have a downloadable student workbook that has the lectures and the practical. And I want to say right up front, you're going to get our online certified personal training course to utilize. So you're going to get that as a bonus. So you actually have an additional study tool, if you will. It has everything of the course in it. The difference is the lectures they're by one of our course designers, but they're actually doing like 10-minute presentation on exercise phys, for instance, on week 1. And then they're going to be a quiz or a learning assignment. And then with you passing those, it's going to have another 12-minute video, for instance, of that. Same thing with the labs, and there's a quiz and a learning assignment. So it's going to help you really digest and master that material of what you've already heard in a virtual lecture, let's say from Mark, the practical skill things in lab. You're getting this on top of it because we all learn in different ways. Some of us like to, and normally with a virtual lecture, we actually send you recordings of those because otherwise in a real live in-person, sometimes it's just one and done, right? And then you're on your own. We're going to give you a lot of different things from audio tools with the recording from Mark to actually the video ones that are online that you can watch over again and stop and take some extra notes, get things down, and of course get the pop quizzes all the time in class and out here. So it really helps you master all this stuff and feel really comfortable and confident on what you're doing. The test vouchers are included with the, that's normally a $400. If you came to me and said, I just want to test out, I think I know enough, it's $450, but we include that as a bonus in the course as well. So that's a big plus as far as that goes. One of the things we also have in there, the textbook. Mark, can you go back for a quick second?
Sure. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, that's okay. So the textbook, you can get an ebook and or the actual book itself, the hardback from, I recommend to go to Amazon.com, but I think like over at VPCC, Mary, right, they have them right there in the bookstore for you. So very, very convenient to just grab them if they're there. So check with your bookstore. A lot of times they'll have them in there because the college was nice enough to set it up for you. But there's variations from Amazon textbooks to the publisher themselves. Okay.
Can I add something to the textbook? I personally feel like it was really helpful for me to actually have the physical workbook and the physical textbook because you're just constantly going back and forward and looking for stuff. And it is nice to have it online, like if you're out and about and you're practicing on like a Quizlet or something like that. But to me, like I wore that textbook out. I was constantly just flipping back and forth. So I just want to put that out there that the textbook, own it.
I love that, Gina, because yeah, exactly that. As a first year student in this field, so to speak, yeah, to have that as a resource over the next year, you're not going to remember everything. And then if they're talking about seniors, it's nice to flip back on that, medication wise, to flip back on it and get some of those directives that you need because maybe you haven't worked with a client like that in a while, but it was on your test and you have a good working knowledge of it. But you know what? Let me double check everything because guess what? It's somebody's mother, brother, or sister. So we want to take care of them, right? So yeah, no, thank you. That's a great point. Excellent point.
The textbook also helps you, especially if we give you assignments to read in advance. The textbook triggers questions. And then when you ask something of us, you know, I myself and the other people who work or the instructors for this, were able to explain that. Sometimes we'll use different verbiage. Like I know in some of my slides, I'll put a picture on for something just because I know you're going to ask. So I've had students ask, and I can relate to this. So reading the textbook in advance of the course, then understand like, well, I didn't understand what this meant. Can you re-explain this? And that's what we help do, and that helps with the actual your success rate.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's an excellent point, because you should be coming in with those 5 or 6 highlighted areas that are kind of came across gray to you as far as what it was really meaning. You think you know what it meant, but it's nice to have that and ask the instructor, oh, I had highlighted this area. I have a question on that, Mark. And you go right to it, and all of a sudden it's gold for you. And more importantly, it's not a wrong question for you down the road, maybe on a written test or the practical skills. Good, thank you. And then we also, this student study tool page, we have that on our website. It's password, entrance to it, but it has a lot of retired exams, other pop quizzes, some videos of the actual practical tests themselves from about 8 years ago, but conceptually it's all right there for you. So you'll know exactly why we're doing the drills we're doing, how, because again, we're teaching you to be a personal trainer. We're not teaching you how to pass the test, but it's all in there. And when we teach you how to be a personal trainer, all the information is there. So we want you to be that successful trainer. So the big point of this is when you go back onto something like this, you can pop up all these different videos, different areas. You can have other quizzes. We've got what are those flip cards with them, where there's electronically are on there. There's just some crazy stuff in there. Quizlets, as Gina was kind of sharing, those kind of things are on there. So you're going to get so many extra resources to go back in an area that you're maybe feeling a little sketchy on. So when you come time to test, I've been through it all. I've gotten 80, 90, 100% in all these areas. I'm ready. And you know what to focus on and be your best. Simple as that. So, okay. Anybody have any questions so far? Anybody?
Don't be bashful.
Don't be bashful. You can even write it in the chat box. Okay. All right. We're going to go forward. The exams, everything itself, it's 100 question multiple choice. That's the first exam you're going to have. The second exam is the one we shared. It is the unique part of it and what employers love. It's a 4-section practical skill exam. You need 80 percentile overall to pass. And again, you're going to be given, just to give you an idea, a case scenario of somebody's medical history, their goals, age, sex, and so on, taking those parameters into consideration. Your tester, who is somebody else, they're not your teacher. It's going to be somebody who doesn't know you. They're just grading you on what they see and hear. That adds validity to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have the accreditation. They're going to ask you certain things on demand, and I want to see, like I said, an assessment for lower back flexibility. Go, and you'll turn to one of your fellow students who will be a mock client, really just a sounding board more than anything else. You'll demonstrate it, go through it, be graded on all that. You'll get them into the position for it, have them do it. You'll queue it up, so on and so forth. So guess what? You are doing what a personal trainer does, and we're just doing on-demand things that you should know. It's nothing you can really map out and be specific that we're only going to do these 5 things. No, we're going to do a bunch of things. And it shows what you're talking about, and you're worthy of getting that national certification, which does what? Helps you get a job, helps you be successful long-term. And again, that's what employers love. And then we have that level 2. So we're talking about that internship, 30-hour internship. Most of these, officially they're unpaid, but most of the employers that I know of all levels are paying, because they want W.I.T.S trainers. They will pay you not the rate of a regular trainer initially. They may pay you as a floor trainer, but they'll get you in the door, get you started, make sure you gel well with their staff. They will go ahead and do all these 30 hours of internships, which is laid out very specifically. You're doing more than just passing out towels or just cleaning equipment. That is not what this internship is about. We make that very clear with our externship partners, and they are all into it because they want to see what you can do too. They're looking to hire. They volunteer their senior trainers to do these internships, these 30-hour internships, because they're looking to hire. And they're not going to waste their time or yours. They want to make sure that this is somebody that's going to fit into their organization. The thing I get most about is I stumble into all the time, people like Gina that now have their own business, that have climbed the ladder in a particular company, are now general manager for a dozen clubs in certain areas. It's very cool to see how our trainers have grown over the years. I'm sorry, Mark, you had something there?
No, yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize. I always like to comment on the internship. In the amount of time I've done this, everybody always asks, is the internship really necessary? Somebody are like, it's like 30 hours. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you a little perspective here. For mine, to my exercise phys, I had to do 500 hours at a hospital for my internship. Okay, so 30 isn't very long. But also, as someone in the position, I'm sure Gina is similar the way now because she has her own business, as a hiring manager, we don't like to interview because it takes away from the actual business itself. There are business studies out there that it can take up to $3,000 to $5,000 for a company to spend to find someone to fill a position. If you do a good job at the internship, I tell everybody the same thing. Go someplace that you feel that you've been interested in potentially working there. If you do a good job at the internship and there's a position there, I'm telling you, the hiring manager is gonna be like, hey, you're here, great job, we're gonna hire you, because we don't want to spend time interviewing. We just don't.
Yeah, it is as simple as that. You will walk into jobs. So yeah, thank you, Mark.
No problem.
Jay, I had a quick question. Sorry, this is Mary. Quick question about the written exam. Is it a timed exam, and is there a percentage that you have to pass?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the written exam is timed. It's 2 hours for the 100 questions. And you need, we have 3 different exams. They're equated psychometrically a little different. So basically, I'll just say you need 70 or better. On one, it's 68. On another one, it's 72. But I mean, generally 70% or better in the written to pass. With the practical, you need 80 percentile or better to pass that one. So great question. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So in just kind of in summary here, we're the only NCCA accredited for the practical skill exam. Besides, kudos, patting ourselves on the back, it's about you and it's about the success for you long term. And to me, this is a health occupation. The standards here should be like any other health occupation and going forward with that and not just getting by with the bare minimum. So you can be proud of it. And this is your big caveat when you go in with a particular location and you're going to be interviewing, is you are the only ones that have gone through this kind of training, the education, and the testing, the accredited testing to get that piece of paper. It's not just an online written exam. So that means a lot to employers because, again, like Mark's kind of sharing there with the 30-hour internship, we don't want to be doing interviews. We want to see somebody that's proven. And our piece of paper, when people go in, that shingle that we have that goes in there, what we hang that says this person is qualified, we don't rubber stamp people through. They've got to meet those minimums. And more importantly, when you go out there, you're going to feel back straight, head high, that you're ready to take on that internship. You're ready to take on clients because you feel really good about your foundation and being able to help people. And that's really what it's about. And you think about how many lives you're going to change in the course of a career for people. It's an amazing feeling. And you're on the front lines being proactive with health. It's not reactive like a lot of doctors and so on are from the back end. After somebody's bad off, they're trying to just piece it together. You're in the front lines, just changing them. So it's very cool. And again, we have the college credits, which you can come through us for that. We can get you in touch with the American Council on Education, who now also gives, when you graduate, they give a Credly badge, a digital badge, which these days is huge for social media, for your websites and so on. When you click on it, it opens up and it says very detailed all the things that you do to get this certification and why, really, if you have a choice between me and 2 other trainers you've heard about, I'm your choice. I'm the one that's worth $50 an hour and I'm going to help you. Do you have something there, Mark? Your phone? You were showing your phone?
Oh no, when we were talking about the
I'm wondering if-
the badge, you can download some of the stuff actually on the actual phone. So people say, "Oh, really?" Say, "Yeah, check this out. Here's my accreditation right here." Remember we had that at one point. I can't remember.
Yeah. No, that's a fantastic point, because and again, it just doesn't say American Council on Education, 3 college credits through the school, WITS. No, it actually, you click on it and it opens up to kind of an internal qualification resume of what you went through to get that WITS certification. So, and again, we're the only ones with an internship. Seems kind of silly, right? We're in a health occupation. You should have that to go master and fine tune those skills. I have students all the time tell me that they thought they were really great and feeling great when they went and did the internship in a live environment with a senior trainer, an official supervisor. It just all fell into place. And it was just like daylight breaking through as to how this can be very effective for them and ready to take that next step. So, okay, this is an orientation bonus. Something we have here for you is that, if you register this week, we're gonna send you a free workshop, the nutritional concepts, absolutely free. But here's the key. I'm not sending it to you till you complete your course with the personal training. I know a lot of you love talking about diving into nutrition. I don't want you wasting any hours on this until you're done with your certification, because this is a 6-hour course, and as fun as it's going to be for you, I want your head clear, zeroed in on the information that we're giving you, because that's kind of cool, and it's just a bonus. But you have to do it this week, and when you do, certainly write me when you get it completed. I'll verify the certification with BPCC or other schools, and we'll get that to you after your exam, because I don't want you to cheat.
I want you focused on us first, please.
That's right. There's a lot there.
No multitasking. Multitasking doesn't work, okay? I used to teach a sports psychology class also in the Philadelphia area, and I tell people, my students, don't multitask, focus on one thing at a time and finish it, and then move on to the next thing.
Yes, thank you, yeah. So any questions at this point? There's my email, and again, you'll get a copy of this recording for your records to review, as well as hopefully share with some other friends that have similar interests. It would be fun teaming up with, right? To go take a class when maybe your normal workout buddy, whatever the case may be. Nobody has any questions for a trip to Hawaii? Does anybody have a question?
Oh, I do. I have a question for a trip to Hawaii. Hold on a second. I didn't know what the prize is.
It's Hawaii, Georgia. Did I mention that? No, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I love making this presentation, especially with 3 incredible pros beside me on this. I appreciate everybody's time. Do you guys have any last minute comments for our group?
I do want to add one thing, just to piggyback on what you were saying about how you have the in-person part of the lab makes such a difference, and that no other program has that. That's actually really true, because whenever I was in my lab and we would be getting explanations and doing demos on each other and practicing, other trainers at the 24-Hour Fitness would be like, what is this? What are you guys doing? And we're like, oh, well, we're doing our lab for our personal trainer certification. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know they had that. They were like, oh, we love when you're here because we like to kind of spy and listen and hear what they have to say. So like, other already certified trainers are trying to learn from the class that we're being taught.
Wow. That's
pretty profound.
Yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell. That's amazing. I was going to say, I always know that other members that are on bikes, on this, on that, when you're training, they're listening. They're trying to grab anything they can, either because they don't have a trainer right now or they have somebody. And then they notice that you guys doing the job you're doing, they're going, my trainer doesn't do that. my trainer doesn't tell me that stuff. I didn't realize that could hurt my back. And the next thing you know, they're trying to contract you when their other one runs out with their other trainer because they want somebody that's going to really take care of them and care about those details. But that's an amazing story. Thanks, Gina. Thank you. Okay, well, if there are no questions, I think we've done such a fabulous job. You didn't have any questions. That's the way I'm taking it.
That's what it is.
So I love you guys taking your Saturday. And again, recordings will follow here within 6 hours of this presentation. And again, share it with your buddies or at work in particular, if you're in a health club. I'll bet you'll find out that your working partner and some other people would love to join with you on this adventure. So thanks, Gina. Mary, I appreciate your time. Mark, as always, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And everybody have a great weekend. Go Eagles. Bye, everybody. Thank you.